Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'm going to be making new plants from some cut flowers here. So normally if I was to make new plants I wouldn't be using flower stems, I'd just be using leaves or stems or root cuttings for individual plants. But I've had these flowers now for over a month and I was quite surprised that they were still kind of alive. So I had a closer look at the water and I've actually noticed there's some white roots starting to grow. Hopefully that'll pick up on the camera okay. You can see there's a white root coming down there. There's another white root coming down here. So it's actually started to take root, and I've also noticed it's put on some healthy new growth. So that's a good sign that I can actually take cuttings from this. So in this video I'm going to take some cuttings, hopefully grow some new chrysanthemum plants. These are chrysanthemum flowers. They won't flower until autumn, but I can grow them over the summer and hopefully come autumn I'll have a nice display of flowers. And it's a good time of year to do this as well, as it's spring. So I'm going to get first of all I'm going to cut the tops off the flowers. The flowers aren't needed anymore, they were just some nice decoration. And the energy from the plant, we want all the energy to go into the new roots and then into the new shoots. We don't want any energy going into the flowers anymore. So I'm just going to cut them all off to quite a low level. So that's all the tops taken off. Hopefully now it's easy to see what we're working with. So they'll be quite delicate at this stage, the stems, so I have to be very careful not to break any of the roots, because they're going to be very fresh. So I'm going to very carefully pull some of these out. You can see there's a root on there. I'm just going to carefully lay that down. I don't want to have them out of the water for too long because the roots will dry out and then die. But I need to take them out to see what I'm working with, see which ones are rooted and which ones haven't. So this one, for example, hasn't got any roots on it and it looks like there's a bit of rot starting. So I'm actually going to throw this one out. I don't think there's any point trying to keep that one alive. Try some other ones. So this one's got some good healthy roots on it. And the stem's not looking too rotten, plus it's got some healthy growth coming out the top there, so I'll keep that one. Just being very careful with the roots. And then the last one, doesn't appear to be any roots coming out of this one. It just seems to be rotting off, so I won't keep that. So I've got two good cuttings from this which is not bad, considering I wasn't expecting to get any cuttings when I bought the flowers. So I now just need to prepare the flowers, the stems for cutting. So you can see here we have the root. You want the root really to be coming out the bottom, and the bottom of the stem is starting to rot. So I'm just going to cut the stem off there. And then I'm going to remove any of these dead side branches and any dead materials which might encourage rot, like that bit there. As you can see, I've got a nice long healthy root on the side here, but I've actually got lots of little roots also starting to develop. So this should make quite a nice cutting, and it's already got a bit of growth started. I'm going to do the same with the other one. I'm going to cut it off about this level to get rid of any of the rotting material, and also that's where the roots are coming from the base. And then I'm just going to remove these dead leaves which are on the sides of the stems, as they're not necessary. Now I'll probably need to cut these back and trim them because they might look a bit leggy at first, but I'll let these grow for now. I'm not going to trim any of more of the top half off. I need as much stem as possible really to keep the energy going. So what I'm using is just a multi-purpose compost with plenty of perlite added. The perlite makes sure that there's plenty of air in the mix and make sure it doesn't go rotten too easily. So I'll just put a little bit in the bottom, making sure it's a nice loose mix. I'm then going to put these cuttings in just very carefully so that they don't snap any of the roots, just like that. And this one at the other side. And generally I'm going to keep them towards the edge of the pot because I find that's the best place to get more air. So you can see them in there now. Yeah, they'll put them on the edge of the pot because generally you get a slightly better airflow into the compost mix from there. I'm just going to sprinkle in the compost, covering up the stems quite deep. There we are. And I'm going to give this a good water. Put it in a bright location, but not anywhere too sunny, because if it's too sunny, because the roots haven't fully developed, it won't be able to provide enough moisture for the new shoots. But it needs the light so it can have enough energy to start growing and start growing new roots as well. So as I say, put it in a bright location, not too sunny. I might miss the foliage a bit as well, just until the roots get established. And once it's growing quite well, I'll then pot them out, separate them. I'll look at where the roots are growing from. I might be able to lower the level of the compost because at the moment it's probably too high. But if additional roots start growing from higher up in these stems, then I can just leave the height of the compost and that'll be okay. I'll also maybe prune the plant. I find that chrysanthemums can get quite leggy very easily, so I'll probably have to prune it back lower down to get a bushier shape. That's it for now with my my plants from flowers cuttings. So I'm going to have a look if anything. I've done this once before with a rose. I've seen it successful with a rose and grown a whole rose plant from a cut flower, and that worked quite well.
So, and this is a chrysanthemum that's doing the same. So if any of you guys have cut flowers and you notice that they're lasting a bit longer than you'd expect, have a look in the glass, see if there's any roots forming, and you might be able to get yourself a nice free plant which you weren't expecting, a nice little added bonus to your cut flowers. So that's it from this video. As I say, I know chrysanthemums do it and I know roses do it. It's a rare occurrence, but it does happen, so just keep an eye out and hopefully you get some nice free plants.